Chris here with what I believe is the best mid-range phone for portrait photography. It is the Honor 200 Pro. Now, Honor has paired up with Studio Harcourt. This is a prestigious studio, well known for their portrait photos, super famous. I got to visit it in Paris with Honor, and they're well known for taking portraits of many famous people. For example, Keanu Reeves, Halle Berry, and Roger Moore, just to name a few there. And now we have their level of portrait photography with all their know-how right here in this phone, which is pretty amazing. Now, it is powered by the Snapdragon 8S Gen 3. It does have 100-watt supercharging, 66-watt wireless charging, and it's running Magic OS 8 with the base, of course, being Android 14. Now, the screen is 120 Hertz. It does have pulse width modulation, which is 3,840 Hertz, so there's no flicker whatsoever, no banding, and it is an OLED at 6.78 inches. So this is what Honor does give us. We get a TPU case, great to see, and it has a raised lip there to protect the camera module, Type A to Type C charging cable, and our charger, which is their Honor Supercharge. This is 100 watts. So it'll fully charge that 5,200 milliamp hour battery in just 41 minutes, and we do get 66 watt wireless charging. Very good for this spec of phone. So my model here, the color is the Moonlight White, and I really like it. It has like a pearl kind of look to it. It looks like those tabletops for like a kitchen bench or something, and I think it feels really good in hand. The curvature to it, so there's curved here on the top, the bottom, and it's nice and rounded, so it's very comfortable holding this phone. And the weight of it, so 199 grams, that's not bad at all. It's 8.2 millimeters the thickness, and you'll see that we do have our power volume button on the right hand side here. Good location to those, you can easily get access to them. However, fingerprint reader, which is optical, it's a little too low. I wish it was about here. A lot of brands do this, they seem to push it down, but some of them do have it up a bit higher, makes it a little bit more comfortable. So curvature to the front OLED screen here, this is 6.78 inches, and it does have a maximum brightness of 4,000 nits, displaying HDR content. It looks really good, very smooth at the 120 Hertz. And the front camera, 50 megapixels, and next to it's a 2 megapixel camera for depth information. So yes, we have that slightly wider cutout here, the pill style to it, instead of just that single hole there in the front, which I do prefer the hole punch. Bezels are not bad at all. And holding it again, it's very comfortable because of the curve on it. Now, the frame around the outside here, this is silver, and it's imitating metal here to look like metal. It feels like it. It's very solid, but this is a plastic frame we do have with it. Now, up at the top here, we've got IR transmitter, mic, loudspeaker. So there's dual loudspeakers. Down the bottom, SIM tray, which takes dual nano SIMs, microphone, loudspeaker. Type-C port here does not support video out, unfortunately, because, well, it's a mid-range phone. They tend to leave that just for the flagship level. Camera module looks good. I like that it is reasonably symmetrical here, that they haven't made it stand out or look strange or anything. So our main camera, 50 megapixels. This is our portrait camera. So autofocus and the optical image stabilization SM actuator is all in one. So it's a 2-in-1 there with it. It uses electronic image stabilization, then a 2.5 times optical 50 megapixel camera, which goes up to 50 times digital zoom, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide and dual LED flash. So this display, OLED up to 120 Hertz. The UI is 120 frames per second at the moment, and it is very, very fast here and fluid. Now, I've experienced no lag, no issues with touch response, gestures, everything is working really well here. Now, it has the Snapdragon 8S Gen 3. It is not a top flagship chipset. That's the Gen 3 from them, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. But we are getting really good performance here, that it feels like the UI performance, everything that it is flagship level. 12 gigabytes of RAM certainly does help instead of the typical kind of standard 8 that you'd normally see with a mid-range phone, and 512 gigabytes of storage. Now the display, this is excellent. Again, I would say that this is a flagship level display. Certainly is great when it comes to flicker. If you're very sensitive to that, then you're not going to see any flicker with this display, because it has a pulse width modulation of 3,840 Hertz. So even when you knock that brightness right down, and no matter what angles you're looking at it, I do not see any banding or flicker or any problems here with that. Now we do have the AI circadian night display, natural tone 2.0, adaptive dimming. So it's very healthy, safe for your eyes, and that is great. Good to see. So excellent display. that Honor has gone with, again, that I've come accustomed to. They really do use great OLED displays, and the best part is their pulse width modulation rates being just so high you don't see any flicker or banding. So when you get the phone and you power it on for the first time and set it all up, you will be greeted with a little bit of bloatware. So Facebook, Booking.com, TikTok, AliExpress, Amazon, I consider that to be bloat. Now, very easy to remove, and great to see it is just this. So they haven't gone overboard like some other brands out there that install categories and try to get you to start installing all sorts of different applications. It does have a Widevine level 1 cert, so this means that Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, all your streaming apps are in full HD, which is good. You don't want to be stuck in standard definition, not with such a beautiful screen like this that we do have. And then the storage speed, so I have 512 gigabytes of storage here, and we're looking at just over 2,000 for the sequential reads, close to 2,000 for the sequential writes, and very good random reads and writes here. So that's not going to slow down this phone at all. Chipset, so the Snapdragon 8S Gen 3, it's a good performer. The graphics is very good. And then the CPU, you can see, is the slower part of it, really, but it still is excellent. Look at what kind of scores we're getting. So just over 1.2 million points here in Antutu version 10.2.7. As for battery life, then, you're looking around 7 to 8 hours of on-screen time in my testing with it set to the dynamic refresh rate. And remember, the 5,200 milliamp hour battery fully charges in about 41 minutes, which is excellent. Okay, onto that portrait mode from Harcourt. So at Studio Harcourt in Paris, they did hire a model. We used the phone to take the samples I'm showing you right now. So using their specific portrait mode, which took them about a year, 20 people to get this down, using the AI as well to calculate the lighting. Now, typical setup time of the lighting that they had there was about 2 hours. You don't have any of that, of course, with the phone. And then the cost of it to get one of these portraits is 2,000 euros. So you can get that same kind of quality because we did a test. The photo that we took there in the studio with a DSLR and then the Honor 200 Pro was basically identical. And of course I was keen to test this out with my children, so I took a few photos using the traditional, their just standard classic, which is black and white. That to me is a proper Harcourt shot, right? But you can use the color mode that is there, and the results overall very good. I am pleased with the background blur, the stitching all looks really good, the lighting and the effects that they can put on, especially with those black and white photos. And it's not just about portrait photos. This is macro and it looks good. Look at all that detail that you can capture with the macro shots. And we do have our 2.5 times optical zoom camera, not just for portraits, but also came in handy for just getting a bit closer like this. This is our main camera. I like the colors. And I'm seeing very little fringing, good amount of detail as well, and not over sharpened. 12 megapixel ultra wide photos don't look bad, but around the edges I have noticed a little bit of blurring, so it could be a bit better there. And in bright colors, in direct sunlight, there is some clipping, especially with this bright red hibiscus. Struggled a little capturing all the different shades of red. So I'm pleased overall with the main camera images, especially. You get a lot of detail there. Colors look fairly accurate. And selfies, the 50 megapixel camera does capture a lot of detail. Low light photos have surprised me, so we get good exposure, captures a lot of details, even though it is low light here, and using their night mode. And the backgrounds don't look all pixelated or purple. It captures the night sky quite well, which was a surprise. So really flagship nighttime photography on a mid-range phone is excellent. What is the Honor 200 like then at video? So the front-facing camera, that's 200 megapixels, and we can shoot 4K, which I'm doing right now, and the quality seems all right. The stabilization is good. It's electronic, of course, and as I move about, we shouldn't see any judder at all. And you've got two options. So you have 0.8 with the zoom, so it's ultra wide, well, not super ultra, and then the 1 times, it brings it in closer. And that's just the crop we have, and of course we have a bit of crop for the electronic image stabilization. So with the video, this is the main camera, which has optical image stabilization. I can take it up to 3 times. This is a preset they have for digital zoom. Now, unlike the front-facing camera, we've also got 4K 60 frames per second. The front-facing camera, 50 megapixels, only allows us to shoot at 4K 30, but this can go up to 4K 60. The ultra-wide, that is 12 megapixels. It is the weakest camera of all of the cameras we do have on board here. And overall video quality isn't bad. I wouldn't say it's on a strength. Definitely the stills are, and the portrait, of course, with the Harcourt, Studio Harcourt mode that we have is the real focus here. But It's very usable, the video quality that we do have here. Stabilization is pretty good as I pan around. Sometimes I have noticed a little bit of judder, but overall I think it's decent. Now, haptics on the phone, they do feel good. There's a nice little short little pulse you get, and loudspeakers, so we have one right here, there's one down below, and overall very decent loudspeakers. Volume's good, there's a little bit of bass, mids, treble, okay. Voice call quality is excellent. And now I'll give you a sample just with some NCS here, so I don't get any copyright strikes, of course, of what the speakers sound like at 100% volume. They're good. As for gaming, the Snapdragon 8S Gen 3 does perform well here with the 12GB of RAM. Thermals are also excellent. I don't really notice any major slowdowns, lags, frame dips. Only when you load in certain different areas in Genshin Impact, which I'm testing out right now, you may notice something. So I'm playing right now on the highest possible visual settings, and it really is nice and smooth. And the phone is only getting slightly warm just around here where the chipset is. They do have a large vapor chamber on this too, so that is helping out. So great gaming performance with the Honor 200 Pro. All right, recapping now. So if you take a lot of portrait photos and you're after that hardcore studio look, well, you've got it with this phone, and it's the only phone out there that they have partnered up with a phone brand like Honor, and it took them a year. So 1 year, 20 staff working on this to get that exact kind of hardcore look there, the lighting, the setup, which normally takes 2 hours, not to mention the fact that a portrait there in Studio Hardcore is going to set you back about 2,000 euros. We got it on this phone, which is really fantastic. The 2.5 times optical zoom camera, good to have, and it's not too much zoom for portrait, which I believe it's a kind of a good sweet spot where they have it. Gaming performance is good, the speakers sound great, build quality is excellent. There is no micro SD card support. Unfortunately, there's no 3.5mm headphone jack. Some nitpicks there from me, but those things kind of seem to have disappeared now, even in mid-range phones. And the ultra-wide video could be a little bit better. Front-facing video is only 4K 30. I really have to start to nitpick to find anything wrong with this phone. I think it's fantastic what Honor's done here for a mid-range phone. The screen as well, there is no flickering thanks to the 3840 Hz pulse width modulation. Removes that banding flicker. You've got your circadian night mode here too as well, so that removes the blue light from it. It's a great screen. Overall, very decent phone. Fingerprint reader location, a little low. That could be a bit higher, but again, I'm nitpicking when I try to find anything wrong with this phone. It really is fantastic what Honor's done. Thanks a lot for watching my review of the Honor 200 Pro.